What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me on this fabulous Friday. It's crazy times happening right now. We're going to talk about this whistleblower. Still more news coming out about this whistleblower. We need to talk about the survival of the whistleblower. And let's talk about it. Or where they went. They caught 78 known terrorists within the beginning of this year alone. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Will Johnson. The website is uniteamericafirst.com. Hey, take advantage. Use that promo code UAF10 to get 10% off on my merch, on the t-shirts. Do it today. UAF10. Just remember that. UAF10 on my website. Okay, let's get right into it. You know, yesterday I talked about this whistleblower and everyone's starting to hear about it. More people starting to hear about it. Surprisingly, a lot of people haven't heard about it. But the whistleblower information is coming out even more. And the most interesting thing to me that, you know, my understanding, now I never claimed to be a lawyer, right? I'm not a biologist, but I know what a woman is. But I never claimed to be a lawyer. But to my understanding, there's actual whistleblower laws, unless something has changed. But, you know, when we're talking about the left, that law, they're above the law. When they say no one is above the law, they're being serious. No one is above the law except for them. It's only the left. They are above the law. Would you agree or disagree? Leave me a comment. I mean, because I think that, you know, they're being honest, saying no one is above the law except for us. They just leave the left the us part out. Do me a favor, share this video, hit the share button. On Rumble, hit the thumbs up. I know Rumble has been having some issues. It would appear to be that Rumble is under assault. Rumble is being attacked. It really is. Because they don't want people going over to Rumble. Rumble is taking over. Rumble is truly taking over. So if you haven't created your free account on Rumble, you need to do so. Because I like to end my show on Rumble and show you the stuff that I can't show you here. Because here, talking about here, they don't allow free speech. So please join me over on Rumble when you get a chance. I will be putting the link up. I will be putting up there. I can't even put the link on my platforms here. At least not on Facebook. Because they don't like it. And I put the link on YouTube, and YouTube just don't let my channel grow anymore. They said, well, we're not going to let anyone new see you. I mean, really, that's pretty much what they done. But anyway, let's talk about this whistleblower. Isn't it interesting that this whistleblower come out and they're scrambling? They're like really upset right now. I mean, they're livid. And there's another story I want to tell you about that got the demons in an uproar. Oh, my goodness. I mean, they're more angry about this whistleblower, about this other story I'm going to tell you, but you need to stay tuned to hear about it. And yesterday I was talking about this whistleblower and how the whistleblower, they need to have him in a secure location, make sure he's not there, make sure they can't find him because they want to get their hands on this whistleblower. And apparently this whistleblower used to work for the IRS for over 10 plus years. 10 plus years. This whistleblower that used to work in the IRS was in a high position apparently, and actually has information on the corruption that was taking place with the federal government when it comes to Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, the Biden crime family. They want to keep it on the wraps. Of course they would. Why wouldn't they? Think about that. Why would they not want to keep that under wraps? They've been keeping everything else under the wraps. The DOJ, the FBI, they've been working for the Democrat Party to hide and to suppress the American people and to hide and suppress information from the American people. They've been censoring the American people through the big tech companies. So I want to play something for you. This is what Joe Biden, when this came up, when he was debating against President Trump. Joe Biden was saying that President Trump was lying about the information about the Hunter Biden laptop. He said, and President Trump said, look, there's been some corruption here. The Hunter Biden,
China,
the whole China thing. And they all said it was
Russia.
They all said it was Russian propaganda. Then come to find out it was all true. But not a single liberal media outlet is holding Joe Biden accountable for this, and he won't do a press conference, so he has to answer questions. Well, you told us during the debate this.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. They have said that this has all the five former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
Except for him and his good friend Rudy Giuliani. Him and his good friend Rudy Giuliani. Really? Y'all see how that works? He literally lied. So who are these high profile people that he was referring to that was saying that this was Russian propaganda? Who are they? Shouldn't they have to go before Congress and tell the American people why they told Joe Biden? Because I don't even know that they even told Joe Biden, right? But let's just say that they did. Shouldn't they have to go before the American people and tell us why they told Joe Biden a lie? Shouldn't they have to do that? I think so. And now this whistleblower coming out, and I said this yesterday. If they could, they probably would put this, whistleblower somewhere where you can in a body bag. Let me just say that. They probably would if they could. I would not put it past them. I never advocate for violence. But the Democrats, remember when President Trump was in office, they had a different outlook on whistleblowers. They were happy to talk to whistleblowers that had hearsay information from 5 other people. He's told it to this person, told it to that person, told it to that person, told it to that person. And then finally, this last person came and was the whistleblower. You understand? They're okay with that type of whistleblowing. And I don't know if you ever played the game when you were younger, you tell one person and one thing in their ear, and then they tell the next person, and about time it comes back around to you, it's something completely different. Right? Listen to the lawyer of the whistleblower, because he's highly concerned about his client. The Democrats want to make sure that the whistleblower never sees the light of day. And they're probably trying to figure out who this whistleblower is that used to work at the IRS. Now, they should probably be able to narrow it down. How many high-profile whistleblowers that used to work at the IRS no longer work at the IRS that had in a high position? They probably can narrow it down. So they're probably just trying to figure out where the whistleblower is so they can do their thing. Listen to this.
There's no, my client wants to come forward. He's not a political person. He's not a social media person. He's not coming here with a political agenda.
He's been at the IRS for a long time.
He's been at the IRS for more than 10 years, and now he's a supervisory special agent. He's been trusted at the IRS. He's actually been trusted as an assistant special agent in charge in other cities and trusted with international investigations and working with other countries' tax enforcement bureaus.
You sent this letter to the Senate, the Finance and Ranking of the Finance Committee, Judiciary, both Whistleblower Protection and Chuck Grassley, also to the House, Ways and Means Chairman, the Ranking, Jim Jordan, Jerry Nadler, and Judiciary. And in it, it says that your client has information that contradicts sworn testimony to Congress by senior political appointee, failure to mitigate clear conflicts of interest, and ultimate disposition of this case that you're talking about, and examples of preferential treatment in politics improperly infecting decisions as laid out in this letter. Is there documentation to support this, not just someone saying, this is what I saw, but actual documentation?
See, now let me stop it real quick. See, this is the type of question that should have been asked when President Trump was in office, when the Democrats had these so-called whistleblowers, right? Because the whistleblowers, again, the whistleblowers that they had, the Democrats had when President Trump was in office, were hearsay whistleblowers. I was told by so-and-so that so-and-so said something to so-and-so. But here they have a direct whistleblower. Listen to what the lawyer of the whistleblower says.
Yes, Brett. So my client's a career law enforcement officer who is respected within the IRS, and he teaches other agents how to properly do investigations. He knows when to spot when when investigative steps aren't done in the traditional way to get at the truth. And he has spotted and observed things that are done differently in this particular matter, which I can't identify. And he wants to talk about them, and he believes that they were influenced by politics.
He believes that they're influenced by politics. He believes that they're influenced. I mean, it's kind of obvious that they are influenced by politics. I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't think it's a secret that the Democrats want to get at this guy because they don't want him to be able to say anything. They want to keep him silent. And they're going to do everything they can to keep him silent because he's becoming a threat to them, right? He's becoming a major threat. And as long as he remains as a major threat to them, they have to remove him. Okay, I think okay, this is what I want to play here. So, you know how I was telling you just a second ago how when President Trump was in office and they were going after him, they had those hearings, remember, talking about what Ukraine and how they brought the whistleblowers in, and the whistleblowers were hearsay whistleblowers. And in this case, they don't care that this actual whistleblower has direct information about what took place. They don't care about any of that. They do not care. Hold on. I want to play that actually. Let me see. Where'd it go? So I want to play this next one for you. This one actually shows who they're pretty much talking about when it comes to the whistleblower. This is pretty much who they're talking about. Let's go. Listen.
Does the Delaware U.S. Attorney lack independent charging authority over certain criminal allegations against the president's son outside of the District of Delaware?
He would have to bring, if it's in another district, he would have to bring the case in another district. But as I said, I have promised to ensure that he's able to carry out his investigation and that he be able to run it. And if he needs to bring it in another jurisdiction, he will have full authority to do that.
Now, if this is true, then the whistleblower shouldn't be fearful. But see, the whistleblower has seen time and time and time again what happens when you go up against the Biden crime family. This is the Biden crime family. And he's probably thinking, well, the Biden crime family has really big ties and connections to the Clinton crime family. So why would you as a whistleblower, would you not be scared? That's the reason why people don't say anything today. Because the Democrats, they can commit crimes. We see them do it all the time. They can commit crimes and nothing happens to them because they are above the law. No one else is, but they are.
You know what, Will? I also think this is a bigger sign of how corrupt the government is, and the people in the government totally know it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because the lawyer says that he lost sleep over whether or not he should come out and let people know. He's
talking about the whistleblower.
Right. The whistleblower, he was struggling with himself whether or not to say something. And I just thought, you know what? It's only because he's afraid of retaliation. He's afraid that they will come after him, his family, who knows. But you know what? And also, they'll make him look like the bad person and ruin his career.
Yeah, but isn't the whistleblower retired? I think the whistleblower is no longer with the IRS, or maybe he is with the IRS and he's just trying to keep it under the wraps. Maybe he's still going in because the lawyer actually put out a lot of key points. Like if I'm the Democrats and I want to find out who this whistleblower is, he would train people. He used to be in law enforcement. He's been there over 10 years. He actually has connections to the IRS in different states, so it's someone that's high profile. But I'm pretty sure there's thousands of people, right? They hired, 87,000 people, armed IRS agents, right? Or at least they tried, right? So they're probably trying to figure out who it is. They're probably trying to narrow it down.
This guy's on the investigative part. He does investigations.
Right. That's my point. So wouldn't they be able to narrow it down? Well, we know it's not some clerk sitting at a desk somewhere.
Well, they're sure it's probably in a certain area. It's people surrounded around the investigation, right? So exactly. I'm sure Garland is going to go after him. Just like if you recall when whistleblowers were coming out to Jim Jordan, and remember, what did Garland do? He put out a note and said, hey, listen, you can't go talk to members of Congress, which is a total lie.
Sure did. So much for whistleblower laws, right? They were going to Jim Jordan. They put out that memo to shut them up. And now you have the IRS doing the same thing. So it would not surprise me if they sent out a memo to members of the IRS, do not talk to Congress. Come on. How is that not tyranny? How is that not tyranny?
Oh, this administration is.
How is that not tyranny? Listen to this report on Fox News when they're talking about the whistleblowers. And again, what happened to the whistleblower laws? What is happening to America?
Remember when some whistleblowers in the Trump administration were held as heroes? What do you think is going on for Hunter here?
Well, I think, first of all, it's very interesting that this now, based upon what the Mark Little, the attorney for the whistleblower, is saying, this is going to come down to credibility because he is alleging that this guy is not political one way or the other. And, you know, we've seen whistleblowers come and go, and they're kind of touched or involved in politics. I like the way this sounds. It's up to the Inspector General for the Department of Justice to make a decision as to whether or not this guy is going to be given whistleblower status, which you absolutely need with this administration. But what's interesting is that he is a senior person in the IRS, and he claims to have a lot of evidence that's not just based upon believe me and not him. Here's the evidence. Here's the documents. Here's the emails. And let me say one more thing. He says that he has information that contradicts a highly appointed political appointee in the Biden administration. And it appears that he is going to contradict what Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, said before the Senate Judiciary Committee when he said, I have pledged not to interfere with the investigation. I have carried through on my pledge. Now,
so if that's the case, Garland should be removed. He should resign immediately. Now, this is Friday, and the whistleblowers already sent out the information or sent out a request to talk to members of Congress, and the whistleblowers weren't willing to talk to both Republicans and Democrats. And if this is the case that he'll talk to both Republicans and Democrats, this has to be extremely damaging. The problem is that the Democrats will do everything they can to protect Garland. They'll do everything they can to protect him.
if the whistleblower is credible and relies on documents, is not political, and gets that whistleblower status, then for one of the few times, and we've wondered about this guy for a long time when he called parents a domestic terrorist, it's time to take a real good look at this guy, Merrick Garland, and his politicization of the Department of Justice. No grand jury investigation takes 5 years, okay? 2018 to 2023.
Yeah. They're in it for political reasons. They're not in it to try to do for the American people. You know, when I was growing up, I used to think that the FBI, the DOJ, like, wow, these are upright, honest people working in these organizations.
Well, a lot of people wanted to be on the FBI.
I did. When I was a kid, I wanted to be in it.
It was elite team.
Yes.
Law and order in our country.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a police officer. And I was like, man, and then you're like, be a police officer. But man, how awesome would it be to be an FBI agent? You know, you get to walk around in a suit, look, it's different, right? At least I thought it was. But now all this corruption, and I wish the whistleblowers in the FBI, there's more good men and women that work in the FBI than there are corrupt ones. I wish all of them would just say, you know what? We're done. But they're afraid to do that because if not enough of them stand up against the tyrants that's taking control of the FBI, they'll lose their jobs, they'll lose their pensions, and they'll probably even try to put them in jail for bringing the corruption to light. I just wish they would just say, you know what? No, we took an oath. Stick to the oath. That's all that we're asking. Stick to the oath. Stop this tyranny. Stop it in its tracks. But for some reason, that's not happening. Let me play this other video with this lawyer of the whistleblower. And here you can tell that the lawyer of the whistleblower is truly saying. Now, he's not going to say it. He's not going to outright say it. But the whistleblower, my opinion, based on what he says, the whistleblower is fearful for his life. Is the reason why he just didn't come right out, Because, as soon as you come right out, they'll shut him down. Something happened to him, have an accident or something. Something.
You can't identify, but we have sources telling us that this has to do with the Hunter Biden investigation. And to that point, Hunter Biden's attorney, Chris Clark, put out a statement in which he says, it appears this IRS agent has committed a crime. It is a felony for an IRS agent to improperly disclose information about an ongoing tax investigation. The IRS has incredible power, and abusing that power by targeting, embarrassing, or disclosing information about a private citizen's tax matters undermines Americans' faith in the federal government. Unfortunately, that is what has happened and is happening here in an attempt to harm my client.
It's really unfortunate that statement was made.
Yeah, you hear that? So they're saying that the whistleblower, for telling the truth, and there's no, they can say that there's an ongoing investigation. They can say that all day long. They can say that. But just like Judge Janine just said, 5 years for a grand jury, 5 years doing what? They're not looking into anything. They're Shannon, weren't they supposed to be looking into this right like 5 years ago when this whole thing came out with the Hunter Biden laptop? Wasn't it supposed to be looking into this? Isn't that the whole point?
Absolutely. That's what Judge Janine was referring to. She was like, oh, this has been under grand jury investigation.
5 years.
And that's why this whistleblower is coming out. He's going like, listen, this whole investigation to Hunter Biden is purposely had roadblocks in front of it. There's no reason why it's taken this long for our highest government agency to take this long to do an investigation. The only reason, and now it's coming out, is because they are purposely protecting the Bidens. And it's not just the FBI and the DOJ. You got the IRS. You got Yellen. They're not releasing
the CIA, the DOJ, the FCC, the FTC, the MIC, the
even Biden
MGA,
himself. The first day of office,
every last one of them.
The first day of office, what did Biden do?
Executive order to hide the SARS reports.
To hide his SARS reports.
From
suspicious activity reports through banking.
How was that not grounds for impeachment?
Man,
it really should be, right? It's grounds for impeachment. The only problem is that if they impeach him, who does that leave? Ooh.
Mr. Clark made that statement. My client wrestled with whether or not to come forward. He had a lot of sleepless nights about coming forward with this. Yeah,
because they know that they'll probably end up putting him in a body bag. I mean, wouldn't you have sleepless nights? You see all this corruption, and then and you're watching them get away with it, right? They're getting away with it. And wouldn't you have sleepless nights? I know that I would, especially if you're like eating you alive and you want to say something. I mean, like, I got to tell somebody. I have to tell somebody.
Nights about coming forward with this. At the end of the day, he decided that he could not live with himself if he stayed quiet and said nothing. So he's coming forward, but he knows that he's going to be attacked. And, really, attacks like this are kind of what he was worried about. But he wants to come forward, tell the truth. He's instructed us to reach out to both Democrats and Republicans on the Hill and let those statements that if they want to hear him and have him come in to the Hill and talk to him, let those statements rest where they are.
I mean, and the Democrats probably is like, yeah, you can come in so we can discredit him. So they can start digging dirt up on him. They want to know who he is. I'm pretty sure they said, well, tell us who he is before he comes so we can be prepared. And their preparedness would be to find dirt on him to try to shut him up. I mean, look what the IRS did. They went to Taibbi's home while he was at a hearing to intimidate him because he was releasing factual information. None of them denying the information that he's releasing. They just want to show intimidation to him to get him to stop, to shut him up. They're intimidating journalists. Is that not the same definition of tyranny?
You see that as fairly threatening, that
I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps whistleblowers as a whole. I mean, there is a strong contingent on the Hill that believes in the whistleblower programs to shine a light on government agencies and programs and to enable people to come forward without getting threatened. And it's unfortunate that statement was made.
You mentioned Democrats and Republicans. Both were asked about it today. Here's some sound from a couple of them.
there is facts and evidence that contradict sworn testimony before Congress, is a 5-alarm fire when it comes to any potential investigation and the politicization of these agencies.
We take all whistleblower statements seriously, as we should. Some turn out to be very important and some not, but we take them all seriously at the outset and look at them closely.
I really don't think that the Democrats actually do. You know, they were saying that during the hearings, the fake impeachment of President Trump, saying that they take this whistleblower seriously. They're only saying it here to show face, to try to act like they do, but they really don't. They really don't. They really don't. All right, so let me see. I was gonna flip over, but Rumble is having some major issues tonight. And because Rumble is having some major issues tonight, there's some other stuff. I'm not going to do it tonight.
Well, I want to talk about some other things. Well,
but I want to talk about that one story. Or should we say that for a special report? The great, awesome news that came out of Texas.
Oh, I was going to talk about Blinken, but you want to talk?
No, let's talk about Blinken. What? Should I save the other one for a special report?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such great news.
Yeah.
Man, I apologize, everyone.
Don't tease people.
I know. Let me apologize. Can I apologize to him? Because I know some people be upset with me. Will say, you said you were going to share it with us. You said you were going to share it with us. I'm going to do a special report on this awesome news. I think this is the best news that has come out of Texas since they did the constitutional carry. But this is actually better than that. What can you imagine that would be better than that? Can you imagine something that'd be better than that? So be on the lookout. I'm going to put a special report out probably after this. Or it'll come out tomorrow morning at least. I'm going to do a special report on it. Okay. Garland. You want to talk about Garland?
No, I'm going to talk about Blinken.
Blinken. Stinking Blinken.
Yeah. At the beginning of the show, you showed a video of Biden during the campaign debates, right? And he was saying that Trump was talking about this Hunter Biden laptop that all these people have discredited and said are Russian information, right? Well, now we know it's coming out. There's another intelligent official that's come out and said that Blinken...
This is breaking?
It's breaking today. That Blinken orchestrated intel letter that discredited the laptop.
Really?
Is this not crazy?
He actually brought it up. So he was the one that was pushing the...
Russia.
He sure was.
So he lied because we already know that the Hunter Biden laptop had nothing to do with...
Russia.
So he wrote up the letter and had everyone believing that it was
Russia.
Yes. And there are on Twitter, they're actually circulating the letter from Blinken. Literally. I mean, it's crazy. The article says a former CIA...
Wait a minute. So they leaked the letter too?
Yeah, it's out there. It says a former CIA official testified. He also testified that Biden campaign senior advisor, now Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, played a role in the inception of the public statement signed by current and past intelligence officials that claimed the Hunter Biden laptop was part of Russian disinformation campaign. It also said that he was the impetus or the force that created this disinformation story. And well, you know what? So much of this stuff is coming out. People are coming out. You said there's so many good people in these organizations and some of them are coming out and they are talking. The bad thing is what? We have to be able to hold these people accountable.
Yes.
We have to. And with such a corrupt system, it gets discouraging and stuff. But I ask everybody right now, we need to pray about it. We need to pray that there is a way that there's enough of these people that come out and that are able to hold these people accountable and that the people that support these people, Biden's voters, they need to see what is happening. And you know what? I'm just going to bring up the point.
Do you think they'll care? Because I know some strict Biden supporters that don't. They hate Trump more than they care about America.
But you know what? Well, just like you said, I pray that there's enough good people. I pray there's enough good people under the Democrat Party to see what's happening. And let me tell you something. People don't see what we see on this side, right? And so they don't see how much they are hurting people like you from speaking out. Rumble right now is experiencing issues, and they're saying that there's something bigger than Rumble that is trying to take them down. It could be the government. They don't know.
Rumor has it that it looks like the level of attacks that Rumble is receiving. Because some people are saying it's just growing pains, right?
But it's not. Rumble's saying it's not.
It's. I think it's more than that. I think it's at the level what I'm hearing allegedly. What I'm hearing is that it's like the level of attacks that they're receiving is like the government may be doing it, covert operations, the level that other big, huge tech companies have the technology to do it and cover their tracks while they're doing it. And they can spam people to the point to where they just shut stuff down. And that's what's happening on Rumble. Because think about it. President Trump, after they indicted President Trump, he went live straight on Rumble, and they had it right there on the front page of Rumble. Millions of people tuned in. They were like, oh my goodness, this is an avenue where millions of people are aware of and they're tuning in. They listen to President Trump. Ever since then, they started really attacking Rumble. It's like Rumble is becoming the number one. Because see, they don't do it to YouTube. They don't do it to Facebook because Facebook and YouTube are on their side.
Well, here's the thing, though. Facebook is doing it to people like you. Right. And that's where I was trying to get at. People, you have to support the people you like to watch. You have to. Because before, we didn't really ask for donations. We didn't really ask for support like we are now because they are literally making it so difficult for us to continue without people support. I'm not saying if you don't like Will, don't support him. But if he is a platform that you like watching, you have to support him. And you don't have to do it through Facebook. You don't trust him. I understand. But you could go to Unite
when
America
you're talking about
First.
through Facebook, you're talking about not everyone wants to do stars because they don't like Facebook. But you know what? When everybody, the stars, like the last person that showed up, Chad just gave me 50 stars. When you give me 50 stars, I get all of those 50 stars.
That is true.
I get all of those 50 stars. So that's a nice thing.
About stars, yeah.
So Facebook, I do get the stars. Just to let you know, I do receive them. But a lot of people refuse to do that. So that's where we have my website, uniteamericafirst.com/donation. I've asked people multiple times to go there to support me, to help me continue going. This is by you going to the website. When we put it on the screen here. You can go to my website, and this is exactly what you see on my website. And I got different options. I got the PayPal, I got the Cash App, I got Buy Me a Coffee, Venmo. The links are there, and my physical address is right there. My physical address is right there on the page. However you want to support me, and you come on, think about it, people. This doesn't happen just to be. It doesn't happen just to be happening, right? This what I'm doing every single day. How do you think I'm doing it? I do it by your support. I do it because of your support. And I know a lot of people get nervous and get scared and stuff about what's happening in the world, but please, I only ever ask for God's people to support me.
Yeah. So
I only ever ask for God's people, those who trust in God and like what Will is doing and believe that the day and age that we're living in, that we need people like Will Johnson to be out on the front. You know that I'm on the front lines. You know that I've gone out and confronted Antifa and BLM. You know that I'm not afraid to speak my mind. You know I'm not afraid to stand up for what is right. But I can't do it without your help. I really can't.
I mean, more than ever, it is so true.
Yeah, it's just
than ever.
It's crazy because look what they're doing on my Facebook right now, and you know YouTube is even worse, right? I don't think my YouTube channel has gotten another subscriber in over 6 months, and it's like dormant. It's like static. The only people that see my YouTube are the ones who actually know that I'm on YouTube, right? And they've already, and I don't even think I don't even know if they allow people to get the notifications from my YouTube any longer. I mean, if you're on YouTube right now, leave me a comment. I can see the chats there. Leave me a comment. Did you get a notification? They're only allowing 36 people right? To get a notification.
I know a couple people last night said they did get a notification from me
awesome.
too.
That's awesome. Yeah. But on Facebook, I have over, well, recently I was at 426,000 subscribers on my Facebook page, and they've been removing people. And I've actually had people send me messages, Will, why did you remove me from your Facebook page? And I said, they send me emails. And I said, I didn't remove you. I didn't remove you. And they said, well, I was removed. And I said, well, I apologize. I'm telling you right now, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Let me share this other story with you. You know, a lot of people are wondering how we're going to do this for the next round, right? Are people supporting President Trump? And there's been a couple times, I don't know, y'all know who, what's his name? Kilme on, Brian Kilme. Brian Kilme on Fox News. He brought up that, I guess he's for Ron DeSantis. I don't know. I mean, it would appear that he would be, because he did a video, and it was really bad video. Carrie Lake actually shared it on Twitter. It was a terrible video, and she's asking, why would you do this? Because he was bringing up the fact saying, well, you know, President Trump's, he's been impeached twice, and now he's been indicted. He said, you know, in the past, anytime someone would have this much baggage, the Republicans wouldn't even touch him. So he's basically saying, look, President Trump has all this baggage, don't touch him. He's establishment. That's exactly what they do. And the Democrats purposely do all of this damage, all of this stupid stuff, and they expect us to jump ship from President Trump. Well, I'm not going to. I got my pen right here. I'll write his name in. Donald J. Trump. I'll write his name in. And then I can still say that I voted. But see, they put all this stuff on him because in the past it would work. What was it? There was a TV show called Scandals, right? I started watching, but I could never really get into it. But what it was about politics, the scandals that take place in politics. And what they would do is when the scandal would come up on the show, they would try to work it. They would try to figure out how they can get ahead of the scandal to make it go away. But in this case, the Democrats, just like crisis, the Democrats create crisis. They create scandals. And they're trying to create a scandal with President Trump when they impeached him twice in the House. And the only reason why they were able to impeach him in the House is because the Democrats had the votes. That's the only reason. He didn't do anything wrong. They only had the votes. That's why it failed in the Senate. Just like this indictment. There's nothing there. But because they have an idiot DA in New York to do it, they can do it. So they make up the scandals. They make up the junk to make them look bad. But you and I, we're not falling for it. And neither is this young man out of Florida, Donalds. Listen to what he says here on Fox News about supporting President Trump when it comes to the next election.
I haven't stopped my support of Ron DeSantis, but we're just talking about the presidency. And I think you just heard Congressman Stubbe probably said it better than anybody could. Look, our country's in a real problem, and you got to be able to hit the ground running on day one. We know Donald Trump can do it. He did it once before. He can do it again. And if you look at our country from a foreign policy perspective, we know all the domestic issues. You guys cover it all the time. But China is on the move. They see weakness at the White House. Yep. The next commander in chief has got to be able to do the job of commander in chief on day one. We know Donald Trump can do that job. Look, I take nothing away from Governor DeSantis. He's done a great job as our governor. But the country is in a place right now where day one is going to matter for the United States. And I know Donald Trump can answer that call.
Right there. I know it.
See, that's the thing.
I know President Trump can answer the call.
100%.
We all know that President Trump can answer the call. And that has them terrified. And
actually, I like Donald right there. He has a very bright future.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I like when he goes on the Communist News Network, too.
And he does. He's not afraid to have those conversations.
He'll let them have it. Yeah. And it's not just him. It's just other ones, you know. They'll go on there and they'll let them have it. So I'm really thankful to that. So, okay, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to make this one a short night. Thank you so much for all of the blessings. I think we had someone do stars, right? I think we had a few stars, right?
We actually got a couple of cash apps. So Michael Thank you for the Cash App. And Vern, thank you very much. And then we do have Kevin R. did a super chat. And also we got a Buy Me a Coffee by Kevin R. I wonder if it's the same person.
Super chat. Thank you, Kevin.
And then the stars, let me look. So we got Ann again, Shelly.
Wait a minute, on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up. I know Rumble was having an issue, but on YouTube, right now we have 27 thumbs up on YouTube. I know YouTube sucks, but some people dislike YouTube. I mean, really do. I like YouTube too, but I wish they'd leave me alone and let me do my thing. Hit the thumbs up. Sorry, Shannon.
You already said Chad.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Kennedy that gave Facebook stars, Cindy, Neil, Phil, and Lynn.
Thank you so much for the blessings. Thank you so much for the blessings. Also, don't forget UniteAmericaFirst.com. UniteAmericaFirst.com. Go there, support me today. Help me continue. Help me continue. Only if God puts it on your heart to help me continue. Right? Only if God puts it on your heart. You know what you can do, right? Like the stars, 50 stars is 50 cents. That's what each star equals to me. So when you see people support me with stars, each star equals 50 cents. And I don't ever complain. I've seen some people do 10 stars. I don't ever complain about it because every little bit is a blessing. You understand? That's how I see it. Every little bit is a blessing. Every little bit. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us. I will see you on the flip side. God bless. Take care.
It's a My Pillow 2.0, and your promo code is Will.
Unite.